Welcome. Welcome to this week's podcast, Digital Marketing for Lawyers. It's a great pleasure to have you here on board with me today. As you've probably recognized, we changed the format from a webinar to this podcast, and because I believe that's easier for you to listen to wherever you are and to watch the couple of slides I typically add. We're also planning further enhancements and improvements like interviews so that you get actually even more content on a regular basis. So welcome to this week's digital marketing podcast for lawyers. The agenda, a very brief personal introduction in case you don't know me yet. And then the topic of the week is social media for law firms. That is just an introduction. It is great pleasure to give you this introduction. It just highlights some of the key elements and facts to look out, but it's not kind of a comprehensive view that would take a lot more time, obviously. And I just wanted to give you some snippets and some value add where you can think about, well, what to implement into your law firm. So let's get started. Brief introduction. My name is Michael Alf. I spent 12 years with Capgemini, one of the largest consulting and IT companies. Did all kind of work, consulting, IT, business development, project management, and account management. Spent then 1.5 years with Asciano running the project management office, and again, working on a couple of transformation projects, implementation, and so on. And I'm now CEO and founder of Digital for Lawyers, the digital marketing agency for law firms. We help law firms and other service organizations to streamline, optimize, and automate the online and mobile marketing activities. So it's a great pleasure to have you on board. Let's get into the content of this week. As usual, I'll continue with that. I would like, as an anchor point, use the Letter of Awesomeness of Digital Marketing by Avinash Kaushik. So, because that is a nice reference point, and we've touched on a couple of things here, we'll talk about this time about social. And as you can see, that's relatively high on that letter. So, I wouldn't overemphasize the relevance and importance, though I must say it gets more and more important if you do it right, and that's what we're talking about in a moment. Yeah, so you start really from the acceptable website, the SEO, then mobile is really key, and we'll get back to that. And I have some really exciting information and news and updates from my latest international trip and work with our partners organizations. So with that, let's get into social media and what is required as a law firm. There's so much out there. The key one, and I'll start with that, consistency is key. Then we look at potential channels. We have Facebook, Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn as 4 of the major ones I want to touch on. And then we'll briefly talk about local directories as well. So, when we look at social media and law firms, well, think about what your clients and potential clients are doing, where they're spending their time. I would say the key one is selecting the right ones, and the biggest question mark is always around Facebook. In your case, in case of a law firm or other professional services organizations, because the Facebook is typically very personal. The question is really, do you really need to be on Facebook or not? I see multiple law firms again and again. They do have a Facebook presence, but it's not well done. It's not consistent. They stopped it after a while because it seems not to pay off. That obviously doesn't work, but that's what most firms are still doing. So it's probably better not to do Facebook than to do it in a bad way. And from our experience, it really needs consistency every day, couple of posts, interactions, and so on. So the question is then, well, are your potential clients out there really want to engage on a continuous basis in the Facebook environment? And I would put a question mark. So that's around Facebook. So I would kind of give that as a lower priority, and even consider, is it really necessary for you? Google Plus, that's a big one, and it's that big that we come back to that in a moment, because Google Plus is obviously the social media of Google, and is really, really relevant. Then we have Twitter. Twitter actually is, just in terms of the number, I think tweets is 180 billion, something like that. So it's massive over the years. It is good to to build up some content, some credibility. Is it the best way? Again, for law firms, I would have my question marks. Again, it's time intensive. It requires effort, or obviously you can outsource that. So look, it's probably something to consider, and if you really, really want to do that. LinkedIn, that is clearly because it is the largest professional network. That is something you should definitely look at, and do properly and set that up in the right way, so that you get that LinkedIn credibility and build that up. Again, also here, consistency is key. So you want to post on a regular basis, valuable content, relevant content, and just kind of make sure that you engage with your clients, especially when you're a law firm in the B2B environment. This is probably the most important channel, next to Google Plus, which we're talking about in a moment. And then there are lots of local directories, and really depends on. So there's things like Yelp and Yellow Pages and other local directories, and they are actually really, really important as well. Yeah, to create that what we call local buzz. So that you are present everywhere all the time, and what that gives you, is that actually your clients see you almost everywhere without spending huge amounts on marketing. And with that, you want to get that right, and yeah, or work with a partner who is actually dealing with that, which is obviously something we are providing and are doing for you. So, so that's kind of the overview and the way how I see it. So my recommendation is definitely LinkedIn as a profile, as a professional organization. Secondly, definitely Google Plus, and that's why we want to touch on on the next slide. So, why is Google Plus so important and what to watch out for? Well, Google is the largest search engine, and you clearly know that already, and that most searches, hundreds and thousands of searches for your area per month, are actually happening on Google. So you want to be present, you have to be present there. So that's obviously. So then Google also owns YouTube, so the video channel. Why is video so important? Well, video marketing is one of the big things out there which gives you some quick attention and spreading your information, your news, your updates, so which makes it easier to find, so that people find you when they're out. That has some SEO relevance as well, so search engine optimization. Google clearly pushes to support local businesses like yourselves. That's a big one, and that's one of the key drivers behind what you should do here. For Google, it is important that you actually that you watch out what Google wants and what Google supports, and go with the flow. So, Google always works on improving the algorithms to support original and valuable content. That's another key one. And you heard about Panda and others. And why is that so important? Well, simply, simple SEO doesn't work anymore. And so, one of the things we're talking about is basically a flexible SEO, or dynamic SEO, which is not firm predefined packages, but actually it really talks about adjusting to the needs, and really looking at content marketing, local buzz, and really bringing things together, and that's very, very big and very, very relevant. So with that, you want to have You want to have really original and valuable content, and that is a significant effort, yeah. But it obviously at the end it can pay off. Google Plus is the way Google is working with local businesses. So that's the platform Google is providing. And I'll come back to that image, which you can see here in a moment. So what is important here? Well, one is you need to be a verified local business, and that's the tick under the image, kind of the small inlay image. That indicates that you're verified local business. That's very important because then Google is actually showing the information yeah, on searches. Then the other one is a linked website, and that's a tick after the website. So that basically both are linked, which helps you to get up into the ranking, and you will be kind of, yeah, you will be relevant for searches. Again, that is very important. The other one is images. So you want to have relevant images and photos which you can show, potentially then videos, as I said before, and you want to bring all of that together in your Google Plus profile. Again, in the dynamic SEO, that is something we look at and make sure it gets right, so you have the benefits of it. So this is Google Plus, and Google Plus is really the one I suggest to look at and to make sure you get that right and get that going. And again, yeah, reach out to us when you have any questions around it. So that is social media for law firms in a nutshell. Just to summarize again, the key ones to look at is LinkedIn and Google Plus, and I showed you why Google Plus is so important, because Google is pushing and supporting local businesses, and the more you do to support Google doing that, the better you will be off, and you will be present where your clients are, and when they search for you, then you will come up and have a good opportunity to actually create some additional businesses out of it. So if you have specific questions or want to discuss something in detail, send me an email, Michael at dm4l, so the 4 is a number, dm4l.com.au, or find out more at http and then /digital4lawyers.com.au. So send me an email, michael at dm4l.com.au. As you can see here on the screen, and I'm happy to touch base with you and discuss your needs and see how we can help you to become more successful in the marketplace. With that, I wish you a wonderful, great week, and I look forward to touching base on the next podcast, Digital Marketing for Lawyers. Have a wonderful day. Bye.